Wizard of Mercia, The Red Dragon Wakes by S.M.G. Reddy. Mercia was a beautiful and ancient land, filled with myths and legends of the times past and the creatures that used to inhabit these parts. Those creatures no longer lived there, having abandoned it to those who were called humans. With the passing of time, fairies and the old people were forgotten and thought to be a myth rather than a reality. Magic, however, still filled every river and mountain, every hill and stream. The humans capable of wielding this power of the winds and earth became known as druids. They were wise, knew many things, could help poor people and kings alike. After a devastating war, wishing to build a new castle as a safe haven from anyone who wanted to bring harm to his people, King Penda chose a hill that was perfect for building a great new city. Hundreds of stonemasons and other builders started construction, but what was thought to be quick and reliable work took a turn into something else, as things sometimes do. During the day, walls and stones were brought together to lay down the foundations of the castle, but by the break of a new day, they were found scattered about and the tools missing. It seemed that someone was obviously against anyone building anything on this particular hill. Each night people would stand to keep watch and find out who was destroying the work. But every time all they could see was a thick mist rising from the ground, covering the whole hill, as well as the land around. It was as if the land itself rose against King Penda's castle. After the construction site was destroyed once again, the people started whispering about a curse of the old people that could be cast on this hill. But King Penda turned to his trusted council to ask for help. They sent for an old wise man who took his time and investigated the hill, the earth and the air around. When he came back to the king, he seemed more than troubled. "I feel old magic here, but I cannot say for sure what is wrong," the old man said. "Seek advice from the child with the old blood," he muttered. "He will have a human mother and a father from the old people, born of a bloodline that carries ancient magic in their veins." King Penda sent out his men to seek out and bring him the child he was told about. It took some time until one day one of his riders returned with a boy behind him on his horse. "My liege, I have found the boy. He lives in Carmarthen. People come to him for advice and to hear about his visions," the knight said. "He is from the Druid Council and is well known for his predictions and vast knowledge of the old magic ways. I was told you have a problem with building a castle, my king." The boy bowed to Penda. "I will do my best to help." "What is your name, boy?" asked the king, eyeing the little guest with curiosity. "Ushaun Emrys, my lord, but people back home often call me just Ushaun." "Well, Ushaun, I put my trust in you. Help me build my castle, and you shall be rewarded greatly." "I seek no rewards, my king. I came to help." The boy walked around the hill, stopping from time to time. It looked like he was listening to the ground and the winds. Finally, he returned to the king and his men and said, "This land belongs to a very old dragon. He lives nearby in a cavern under that mountain, on the shore of a great underground lake that is surrounded by many crystals. If you wish to build your fortress here, we will need to take care of this dragon." It had been generations since anyone had seen a dragon in these parts, but still they brought a chilling fear. The story is still told of old settlements burned to the ground and the people being eaten alive. For dragons could not be matched in battle. Many had tried and failed. Many old stories of dragons being slain by a single knight with a spear were just tales. In the real stories, it was armies of thousands of men. Even then, it was not always a victory. Ushaun knew of the greed of these beasts and the love they had for gold and magic crystals. He had brought some old text and some spells that he hoped would rid the land of this wretched creature. If we do nothing, more will come. He knew where dragons roam freely, so does evil. We have to fight, not just for this hill, but for all of Mercia, Ushaun yelled. The king agreed, as he believed one of his soldiers would be the one to kill the beast. But how wrong he was. The king shouted, "They will tell stories and sing songs in our name for a millennia." King Penda immediately ordered his people to dig a tunnel to the dragon's lair so they could deal with it. Work went fast. The people were eager to find out if the child spoke the truth. Very soon, they dug all the way through the side of the mountain and came upon a big cavern with a lake, just as the child predicted. A great dragon lay there sleeping, fast asleep. His scales were dark red all over his body, except his neck and belly, which were coloured white. He had 4 horns on his head and mighty wings with scars of past battles. However, as soon as one of the workers stepped in, the dragon opened his piercing ruby eyes and jumped to attack the trespassers. Knights rushed into the fight and Ushaun stepped inside the cavern as well. No one knew he was a wizard, so the first few spells he cast took them by surprise. However, the boy stood strong and battled the roaring beasts with courage and resilience beyond his age. It was a long battle. Many knights fell, injured from the fire and claws of the dragon. But the boy continued casting spells, throwing fire against fire, raising ice spears to pierce the thick scales. The dragon fought fiercely, but knew he had met his match. He caught a single moment between the spells Ushaun was casting and used his opportunity to fly up and catch the boy in his claws. Everyone froze, fearing for the child's life. However, the dragon roared and bowed his head. "My victory is fleeting. You may have this land," said the dragon, releasing the boy and flying up to the ceiling of the cavern, where a thick mist was already forming. "We shall meet again, young wizard. If we do, it will be at your peril," Ushaun yelled. Within seconds, the dragon disappeared inside the mist, and a few moments later, the mist itself started to dissolve until there was no more left. The dragon was gone. Ushaun went back to King Penda and told him it was now safe to build a fortress. He stayed until the castle was finished to make sure the dragon would not return, and once the work was done, King Penda offered the boy to remain by his side and become his counselor. "Thank you for the honor, my king. However, I must decline. I have a long path ahead and a lot to learn," the boy said with a faint smile. The king nodded, understanding that such a magic child really had his own destiny to discover. "Then allow me to gift you a horse to aid you in your travels, an escort to the destination of your choosing, and I, King Penda, hereby name this castle in honor of this boy with the old blood. May it be known as Dinas Ushaun from henceforth." And so it was from that day forward. Ushaun put his hand out and stroked the horse, and knew his name was Hengroen. The wizard and his new companion rode off towards their destiny, which, as Ushaun predicted, was somewhere else. The end.